Pennsylvania! All right. All right. You are just a reflection of you, sis. Okay, speaking of my sisters, now let me just say this. I feel a little bit set up. Nobody wants to follow Summer Lee on the microphone. But I do, no. But I do want to say this, although it is unenviable to follow her at the microphone, I would follow her anywhere. And I hope you never take her leadership for granted. She is brilliant, she is fierce, she speaks truth to power. She is an incredibly strategic, organizing mind. And I'm so grateful for her leadership and her sisterhood. Pennsylvania, it is so good to be with you. My name is Ayanna Pressley. I'm the Congresswoman representing the Massachusetts 7th Congressional District. Thank you so much for this enthusiastic reception. Let me just make a commitment right now. I will be back. I'm so grateful to share the stage with some incredible advocates and volunteers, and of course, again, my sister in service, Congresswoman Summer Lee today. Pennsylvania, we are going to make history together. That's right. Less than 100 days from now, we will walk into that voting booth, pick up the pen, and decisively elect Kamala Harris, President of the United States of America. Kamala Harris, she is poised, she is proven, she is compassionate, and she is exceptionally qualified, and she is ready. And most of all, she believes deeply in our fundamental rights and freedoms. As I stand before you today, I am thinking of my mother, Sandy Pressley, the woman who gave me my roots and my wings, who was a righteous role model in the power of movements. She was a super voter, proud Democrat, voted in every election and took me with her at every election to vote. Now, I remember when we would pull that curtain, if anyone's old enough to remember when you actually pulled the curtain. We'd pull that curtain, and I would vote with her, and she would turn to me and say, "Never forget that we are powerful." I believed her then, and I still do today. Not only did she provide a righteous role modeling as a super voter in every election, but my mother told me that, "Ayanna, your job is what pays the bills, but your most important work, that work with a capital W, is the work of the upliftment of community." As I stand here, I'm also thinking of our daughter, my husband Conan and I, our daughter Cora Imani. Now, although J.D. Vance doesn't think my family model is a real one, I'm a proud bonus mom. And you can't tell me that that's not my baby. And as I think about my mother and ruminate on the lessons she instilled in me, demonstrated for me, as I think about my daughter, Cora Imani. She just turned 16 years old, but when I was at her 8th grade graduation, that was when Roe v. Wade was overturned, when the Dobbs decision came out, and I was sitting in the bleachers at her 8th grade graduation, and immediately felt with a heavy sense of dread that my daughter would be growing up in a country with fewer rights than I had. I'm thinking of my mother, Sandy. I'm thinking of my daughter, Cora. And rooted in my mother's example and fighting for my daughter's future, I could not be prouder to endorse Kamala Harris for President of the United States. Vice President Harris is the leader we need in this moment. She is consistent and she is effective. And let the record reflect, while folks have been busy seeking to discredit and to erase, She has been effective as Attorney General of California. She worked to keep reproductive health care providers safe. As a senator, she pushed for legislation to counter state attacks on reproductive health care access. And as our vice president, she has led on this issue, championing the Biden-Harris's response to the overturning of Roe v. Wade, including 3 executive orders to protect reproductive health care access. She knows that the right to control our own bodies is fundamental and our right to health care is essential. Here you have Project 2025, a frightening look into a Trump White House, a weaponized Trump Supreme Court, a country where every aspect of your life is controlled. That's their blueprint, that's their vision, that's their policy and transition plan. I grew up in a small storefront church that my grandfather pastored, and if he was here right now, I know he would say, "Grandbaby, make it plain." They want to control every aspect of your life. But Kamala Harris wants to preserve and expand your freedoms. They want to take us back. Kamala Harris wants to take us into the future. This week in Iowa, patients and families woke up with fewer fundamental rights. Rights stripped away by politicians who know nothing about their lives, nothing about their stories, and that is why, my friends, it is long past time to speak plainly about abortion care as the routine medical care that it is, and yes, I'm using the A word. Although this is a fight and a movement of reproductive rights and maternal justice, I'm going to say abortion care. Because the rhetoric that they use is blunt. The policies they seek to advance are even more blunt. The rhetoric is blunt. The policies are violent. So I have to speak plainly about this. Abortion care is health care. The tools they use to deny our care are blunt and their rhetoric violent. And a lot of men, including Trump and J.D. Vance, continue to get this all wrong. Abortion care, they push so much disinformation and misinformation, blunt and hateful rhetoric. But abortion care is about maintaining the health of your vital organs when a non-viable pregnancy threatens your life. Abortion care is about avoiding septic shock when you're going through a miscarriage. Abortion care is about a basic and fundamental right to be in charge of your own body. You in charge of your own body. You and your family making decisions about you and your body. You and your doctor making decisions about you and your body. Not a politician or an extremist and weaponized Trump Supreme Court. For you, freedom begins with bodily autonomy. You get to decide if, how, and when you decide to start or to grow a family. And to be clear, when it comes to abortion care, which is health care, every single person in this room and beyond knows and loves someone who has sought abortion care. Because it is essential care. This is who you love. This is who you work with. And yes, it is even who you worship with. There is no shame in having had an abortion. There is no shame in seeking abortion care. The only shame is that there are unrelenting, coordinated, and dark forces from state legislatures all the way up to the Supreme Court working to deny you that which is your fundamental human right. The day the Supreme Court tore away our fundamental right to care was a damning confirmation of what reproductive justice organizers had been sounding the alarm about for years. And since that day, Coordinated attacks on our reproductive health care have continued and escalated with devastating results. Project 2025, that 900-plus page, far-right-wing, blueprint, policy, and transition plan, they say right there in black and white, Dobbs is just the beginning. And what I have learned over and over again from these extremists is they don't make threats, they make promises. First it was abortion, then it was birth control and contraceptive, then it was IVF, then it was mifepristone, medication abortion. Today, at least 20 states have enacted draconian abortion bans or restrictions on our bodily autonomy. You can't make this stuff up. They want to ban my hair, they want to ban our bodies, they want to ban our books. These restrictions have only served, these abortion bans, to push safe, legal, and necessary abortion care out of reach for our most vulnerable, including our Black, Brown, AAPI, low-income, disabled, Indigenous, and LGBTQ siblings. Given the nature of this coordinated, decades-long assault in state houses and in the courts, we have been working hard to hold our ground and fight to restore rights ripped away from us, and Kamala Harris has been there every step of the way, fighting for the care that we deserve. As the kids would say, she's not new to this, she's true to this. Together with Vice President Harris, we have mobilized federal agencies with a whole-of-government response to stand in the gap, protect essential reproductive care, including pressing for access to safe, reliable medication abortion and over-the-counter birth control. And we've used the power of this movement to make plain what's at stake in this fight, to build momentum behind these priorities. This work is essential, and it continues. And as I begin to close, building on the remarks of my dear sister, Congresswoman Summer Lee, I think it's important that we affirm what we want, not just what we're fighting to stop. So let's give ourselves a moment to conceive of a truly just America. In a truly just America, abortion care is treated as the fundamental health care that it is. Care is readily available for those who seek it, costs are covered, providers are trained and supported, and essential patient-centered services are the norm. In a truly just America, abortion care is normalized. And we speak plainly about the many varied circumstances where abortion care is sought. In a truly just America, bodily autonomy as a right is codified in law, and your access to care is not dependent on your zip code, your immigration status, your income, or your background. Let me make it plain. A just America is possible. So being with you here today, I feel so hopeful. We are an inspiring contrast to what Trump and J.D. Vance want. A truly just America is possible. And I know we find ourselves in an unprecedented moment with unprecedented attacks, and we need to match that energy with unprecedented organizing, with unprecedented mobilizing, with unprecedented voting, with unprecedented hope. I feel hopeful, deeply hopeful, not a hope that is fleeting, a hope that is bone deep, that compels us to action to work our hearts out for the next 3 months. Now, I've noticed that some folks are still struggling to say her first name correctly. If you struggle to say Kamala, Madam President will do just fine. So in contrast to the hate speech and violent policies of these extremist Republicans and the America that Trump and J.D. Vance want to build, with Kamala Harris, let us deliver a love letter to future generations and build a truly just America. Thank you. Thank you, Pennsylvania.